emanates from the desire to complement the efforts of the President in his strive to uplift the status of Gambian women, especially those at the grassroots. Saul said the boots will help protect vulnerable women farmers who venture into muddy and unsafe waters to earn a decent living for themselves and their families. Mafuji Jata is the Secretary General of the Gates Foundation. He dilated on the activities of the foundation, saying that the foundation has done a lot for the young and has more to offer to them, especially in the area of sport, the cornerstone of which the foundation was built. The Deputy Speaker Fatumbai and Mama Sow, father to Saul, all commended the donor, describing him as a true patriot who loves to share his little wealth with his fellow Gambians. The Deputy Speaker extolled Saul for having the welfare of vulnerable Gambian women and children at heart. For her part, the Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, Her Excellency Dr. Aja Aissatou Sedi, commended Saul for joining the President's bandwagon of development. Vice President Njai Sedi said, helping to develop Gambian women is helping to develop the nation. She therefore commended Saul for shouldering the two, adding, this latest move will go a long way in improving the lives and livelihood of women farmers. She went further to assure him of government support at all times. Aissatou Badian Sarr, GRTS.
When reports of a cholera outbreak in Senegal filtered into the Gambia, health authorities in the country began implementing a string of measures to guard against the highly contagious disease. Well, it has been a month since that particular alarm was sounded, and it seems those interventions have been successful to some extent. Aissatou Mane now takes a closer look at the Health Ministry's sensitization efforts in this report.
An outbreak of cholera in 2005, which according to officials took the country by storm. Since then, the epidemic ceased till its recent report in Dakar, which kept health authorities on their toes. The ministry, according to Sana Sambu, has loosened its grip on border areas, but is still strongly prepared in case of any contingencies.
As far as we are concerned as a ministry, as I said the last time, our preparedness plans are still in place. Although we have a little bit relaxed some of the areas, like the border areas and so on, because it's difficult to maintain people at the border continuously throughout the whole period. So as long as the Magal has gone over and movement of people have reduced, we have also reduced our capacity at the border. But that doesn't mean we have completely relaxed everything.
There has been no reported case of the disease yet, but as long as people travel from one place to another, the likelihood of contracting the ailment is still possible.
Because the only number of cases reported from Senegal, that was the end of it. They never had any more new cases, which means we also have to thank them very, very well for doing so much, because that was the end of the cases. The cases they detected, they were able to maintain them and control them, so they had no further cases. I think this actually helped the whole sub-region. Based on that, Gambia also had no case since that time up to now.
Although there has been no recent reported case in Senegal, officials believe sensitization is key to public awareness. That is one reason why public health officials are conducting massive exercises of that nature.
Key among them was the sensitization team, which of course went round to all the regions to sensitize regional governors and health facility officers in charge.
All hands should be on deck to avoid any possible outbreak of cholera. But as it has to do with the whole country, all and sundry must play their part by observing the basic hygienic measures for the common good of the citizenry and those seeking sanctuary in the country. For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Mane.
Well, 2 days of information sharing between officials of the Gambia Emergency Agricultural Production Project and the National Assembly members, lawmakers have extolled the performance of the Jeep as an intervention that is doing so much for the farmer folk in the food sufficiency drive. Farmer Fofana witnessed the closing of the meeting, and this is his report.
Almost 2 years after reaching out to Gambian farmers in the form of hundreds of farm machinery and other inputs like fertilizer and seeds, the Gambia Emergency Agricultural Production Project, GEP, is now meeting with the people's representatives to share with them how a project born out of the 2008 food crisis has performed. Sheikh Tijan Sose, the man coordinating the 5.3 million euro intervention, told National Assembly members that JIP, which is funded by the EU with the World Bank as a conduit, was designed as an emergency project to strengthen the food production and productivity capacities of farmers.
There was an interagency assessment which comprised of the World Bank, the EU, FAO, Ministry of Agriculture, NGOs, and other key stakeholders. They conducted a rapid assessment of the situation to determine the effect and the magnitude of the food crisis in 2008. And as a result of that assessment, 9 districts were identified in the country as the most vulnerable to the food crisis then.
Agnes Gillard, EU Chargé d'Affaires to the Gambia, in her statement, reaffirmed the European Union's commitment to working with the Gambia in attaining the Millennium Development Goals, especially in the area of food security. Despite the challenges encountered along the way, she said the positive impacts realized by the JIP cannot be measured.
To improve sustainability of the agricultural capacity of the country, inputs for one single harvest are obviously not enough. That is why 667 farmers groups were also provided with machinery equipment such as power tillers to improve sustainably their labor productivity. In addition to that, the project team worked hard on the rehabilitation of 23 post-harvest storage facilities and on the rehabilitation of 3 seed multiplication facilities in Sapu, Charmen, and Jeroba.
As representatives of people, including farmers, an official of World Bank Banjul office, Badara Juf, reminded National Assembly members of the important role they could play in the advancement of a sector he described as the lifeline of the Gambian economy.
You, as the representatives of the people, you have a big stake in this. It is to ensure that the projects are well targeted and they reach the beneficiaries, and the beneficiaries benefit for the sake of food self-sufficiency and food security. That is important. That is, for me, that is the role of the National Assembly. One, to make sure that there is enough appropriation in the budget for agriculture, because it's the lifeline of this country. Two, to ensure that the beneficiaries whom you represent at the level of the National Assembly have benefited from these projects, and projects are well targeted.
The involvement of National Assembly members in this two-day forum, according to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, shows the importance the Gambia government attaches to agriculture and food self-sufficiency in particular.
We cannot address food self-sufficiency in the absence of agricultural mechanization. By addressing food self-sufficiency, you have to provide input to the farmers.
The outcome of this interface, convened by the Gambia Emergency Agricultural Production Project shortly before it winds down, is expected to help government, donors, and the project team in the appraisal of future interventions. Farmer of Fofana, Grts.
Well, over now to some news just in. The Gambia's first feed mill, which has been under construction since August 2010, is now ready and operational. The disclosure was made on Monday when the Qatari officials running the firm, located at Kamalo, called on His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, to present to him samples of the first products produced by the Gambia food and feed industries. We hope to bring you more on the plant that focuses on the production of food, animal, fish and poultry feed in the 10 p.m. news bulletin. The Special Criminal Court is set to deliver its ruling on the economic crimes trial against the former Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation boss Edward Graham on the 15th of February 2012. Graham was charged with 1 count of economic crimes under Section 5(1) of the specified offenses. Prosecutors accused Mr. Graham of causing the loss of $73,000 to the state through the Home Finance Company, a subsidiary of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, in 2010, and presented several witnesses to strengthen their case at the High Court. During his defense, the former Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation boss denied the allegations and claimed that he was working for the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation and not the Home Finance Company. He did not call any witness in his defense.